For now, we turn to Jordan Fabian, the White House correspondent for The Hill. So, Jordan, Donald Trump has long praised Vladimir Putin, but now these new sanctions against Russia, they have really widespread support, especially among top Republicans. What kind of pressure do you think this puts on Mr. Trump once he takes office?
Tremendous pressure, Rena. He's going to face a lot of pressure to keep in place what President Obama just enacted. Vladimir Putin, let's be honest, is not the most popular guy on Capitol Hill. And not only do lawmakers want to keep in place what President Obama did, they want to go even further and enact their own sanctions. So it's very possible that Donald Trump could face a veto-proof majority if he wanted to reverse what those lawmakers did. And that would be a very embarrassing prospect for him early in his administration if he goes up against members of Congress and loses.
I want to ask you about the cyber attack on the Vermont utility company. There's alleged Russian malware that was found on a laptop, and we should again point out that it wasn't connected directly to the grid, the power grid, but it has raised concerns about whether Russia could possibly attack the U.S. power grid. What are the possible political ramifications here?
Well, I think it's only going to add to the pressure that's on President-elect Trump to take a hard line against Russia. You could see easily lawmakers launching an investigation into these possible interests that Russia has in hacking the U.S. power grid, hearings, investigations, things like this coming out in his administration. And I think President Trump, when he takes office, is going to face pressure from people like John McCain, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan to take that seriously and respond forcefully.
We know that Donald Trump has announced most of his cabinet appointments. We also know that Congress Republicans are going to dominate both houses of Congress. Are there any of his nominees and his potential picks that are particularly vulnerable to get passed through confirmation?
Well, I think his pick for Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, is going to face an extremely difficult confirmation battle in the Senate. He has to clear the Senate Foreign Relations Committee first. Now, yes, Republicans have a big majority in the Senate, but that committee is split 10-9. So all Democrats will need is one member of that committee to flip sides and vote against Rex Tillerson to block that nomination. And we've heard folks like John McCain and Marco Rubio on that committee express concerns about him. Now, the one thing that Rex Tillerson has going for him, some top prominent Republicans in the foreign policy space, like Robert Gates and Condoleezza Rice, have vouched for him, and they have a lot of credibility among Hill Republicans. So we'll have to see what happens, but that's going to be a tough fight no matter what.
And President Obama's final acts, a lot of people are saying that he's boxing in Donald Trump. What do you think will be the next administration's highest hurdle to overcome?
Well, I think it's something we haven't talked about yet, and that's Obamacare, a domestic issue, obviously one of President Obama's top achievements, and something that, quite honestly, would be easy for Hill Republicans to repeal, and that's something they want to do relatively quickly. The hard part is finding a replacement. They haven't been able to figure that out over the 6 years or so since it passed, and I think there's some differing views between Donald Trump and members of Congress among what to replace it with. So that's going to be very difficult for him to deal with. It's a political problem to take away health insurance from 20 million people and then not come up with a solution to fix that. So that's going to be something to watch in the first 100 days of Donald Trump's presidency.
Jordan Fabian with The Hill. Good of you to join us on New Year's. Thanks again.
Thanks.